Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1974. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in Livonia, Michigan, with a very special guest by the name of Kevin Pavlov. Kevin, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have it in gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
Heck yeah. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Cars Yeah, booyah. So I'm in, and we've got an entire company spooled up. We're tacking it right up, and we're ready to fly one. So we've just begun. So our foot is starting to move away, waiting for the first bite to hit. But we're coming.
I love it. We're going to have some fun learning about a very unique vehicle that you're building. But before I give you a proper introduction, what's one little thing that most people may not know about you, Kevin?
I think that a lot of folks don't know that I'm quite technically oriented, and quite a few pieces of code in the background I've written for yaw torque and stability management and analog brakes and traction control. So when we talk about a little bit about vehicle dynamics, if you're skilled in the art, you'll get where I'm going. But a lot of folks don't know that was the center of what I did for quite a few years. And hopefully all of you have been driving in some of my product. Well, in the Ford, GM, Chrysler, everybody has got a piece of the puzzle. So
yeah, I love it. Well, your background is very broad and diverse. So let's talk a little bit about who you are. Kevin Pavlov is the Chief Executive Officer and Director of ElectraMeccanica, where they build the electric solo vehicle. He brings over 2 decades of automotive experience to the company with an accomplished background in domain-specific expertise, working with original equipment manufacturers and globally recognized Tier 1 suppliers. Prior to joining ElectraMeccanica, Kevin most recently served as COO of Karma Automotive. Kevin has held various other senior leadership roles in his career, most notably at Magna International, where he was at different points in time the COO of its e-car joint venture, global president and general manager of Magna Electronics, and executive vice president of Magna Services, Ventures and Innovation Group. This guy's done a lot of different things. So we're going to have fun today learning about the Solo, more about the Solo. But first, a word from our valued sponsor. So give them a little love, and we'll be right back. Covercraft's newest 3-layer all-climate cover is especially engineered for moderate weather conditions, and it's treated with an extra UV-resistant formula. It's soft, it's breathable, and it's easy to store, all while pampering your paint, providing maximum UV, rain, and dust protection. If you live where it's windy, no worries. Simply add their gust guards for windy conditions to add extra protection to keep your cover in place. Your 3-layer all-climate cover is custom-tailored with Covercraft's attention to detail, form and fit with the quality and attention to detail that's been their tradition since 1965. Covercraft protects cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and watercraft too. Every one of my vehicles is protected with a Covercraft cover. And I have a deal for you. Use the code YEAH21, YEAH21 at covercraft.com, and you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order plus free shipping. That's right. So get 10% off with free shipping by simply using the code YEAH21 at checkout. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. When it was time to renew my collector car policy, my carrier raised my rates by a lot. But why? My usage was the same, my car's value was the same, and I had never made a claim. I didn't even have a ticket. The only change was their rate, and they had no reason why. What's with that? I researched my options, I spoke to others, and with American Collectors Insurance is where I now have my policy. What a difference. A live person actually answers the phone. She spent time learning about me and my Porsche Turbo, the one I call my Orange Crush, and provided a reasonable quote. American Collectors Insurance now protects my special ride. I'm saving hundreds of dollars, and I can sleep at night knowing my baby is properly insured. Why wait until your next premium is due? Give them a call today for your personal agreed value quote. Call 866-AC1-YEAH. That's 866-224 9324. Tell them you're a friend of mine, Mark Green at Karjat. American Collectors Insurance, classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors, automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. That's American Collectors Insurance. All right, Kevin, we're back. So I would love for you to give us a little walk through what the Solo is, because this is a rather new vehicle, although you guys have started selling cars. I know that you are building a plant here in the U.S. So what's happening at Solo? Because you guys are moving fast.
Yeah, we stepped in 2015. It built up a bit, and then there's always a little bit of confusion. ElectraMeccanica actually bought ElectraMeccanica, and we integrated them in, and the ElectraMeccanica business is part of our specialty vehicle operations group. So we've got some goodies cooking in that house. But turning the focus back to the Solo, we definitely took on a challenge, which was create a vehicle, a purpose-built vehicle that is, I would have to say, the ultimate in utility, the ultimate for urban driving challenges. And let me tell you what that really means. We created an EV, not just an EV, because that was the trend that everybody is looking at, but we created an EV for a single passenger. The idea of creating a cockpit around a single passenger, where the space inside of the vehicle, the extra seats that aren't there, the extra powertrain that you don't need in order to drive it, because power to weight is what everything is, right? We all think of that, right? So if the weight goes way down and the power goes way down, it really tends to say, hey, I can be more efficient doing this. But we took that to a whole new level. The whole idea of the heating and cooling inside of the car, it's 1/4 of the airspace. It heats up faster, it cools down faster. It's 1/4 of the battery size. So when you talk about a full charge, it's not that we're pushing more amps into the battery. We just have a much smaller battery. But we still get 100 miles of range, 80 miles an hour on the freeway, very stable. And that was our biggest challenge, putting safety and stability into a vehicle that was purpose-built. So now this vehicle is smaller, lighter, very responsive, quite stable at high speeds, easy to park, fast to charge. You can really use it just about anywhere. And we like to say it's everything that you would do solo.
Yeah.
Really, you got to think about it. There's 120 million people in the U.S. that drive to work and back alone in their vehicle.
Right.
There's 20 million people that carpool. So we thought, hey, let's help the 120 million people find something that's super exciting. It allows you to get back and forth to work super economically, and it still gives you the choice. You go back and forth to work, you can go home, jump in your big car, throw the family in, and go to the beach, because it's an EV that's less than $20,000. So it's affordable. It's got all the fun of a race car. You sit in the middle of the car. It's you. You got a cage around you. There's side impact protection in the doors. There's a roll bar. There's front crumple and rear crumple zones. But here's the cool part. You're also driving something that's in the classification of an autocycle, a motorcycle.
Yes.
So you get to drive in the HOV lane.
Cool.
The car's just under 6 feet wide, so you have a 12-foot wide lane on the freeway. You don't want to be next to somebody? Scoot over. You know what I mean? If someone's passing you in LA, let him go by. There's plenty of room. He's not going to hit your mirror, right? So there's a bunch of little features in the car that I think really, really fit, beside the fact that it's easy to park, very maneuverable. It's great for, I'm telling you, individuals are finding more and more uses. And what we didn't expect was the response out of the fleets. People are using them for the last mile delivery, because most delivery drivers are alone. And most delivery drivers need, simple, easy in, easy out, small parcel type deliveries.
Right.
So we are getting a phenomenal response out of the fleets. Actually, it's about a 50-50 right now on consumers. We started selling our vehicles on October 4th, and we're selling them as fast as we can make them. And now we're starting to get a lot more fleet interest. So now I have to make sure I have more capacity.
Well, well, that's a good problem to have, if that is even a problem, which I don't see it as one. Describe to our listeners now that we've got everyone's attention who's listening. You go to the Solo website and you'll see a very unique looking vehicle. But for those that haven't done that yet, how would you describe the physical attributes of this vehicle? Because it looks different than what we traditionally think of as an automobile.
Well, if you're walking up from the front, it looks just like a car.
Right.
Strangely enough, the roof looks a little more narrow, but it's got very car-esque properties. What most people do is they walk around the back, they say, well, where's the other half?
What happened to the car? Yeah, where'd it go?
That's right. Where'd the rest of those seats go? Honestly, once they look at it and you see that there's plenty of storage space and the things that you need if you were going to the gym or going to the pharmacy or the grocery store it holds plenty. And our fleet folks look at it and they say, well, how can I use this for a delivery? And they were shocked. We have a cargo version, right? And when you open it up, it holds 12 large pizzas and 4 2-liter Cokes. So that's some capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
And they really, really like that. And I think it's very valuable that when you have to make all these short runs, and I said the car has 100 miles, but with snack charging, you can get 200 miles in a day. You know, when the delivery guys come back, they plug into the charger for 20 minutes while the next order is coming up and they go out. And remember, it's small. It charges really fast. So you pick up 10 or 20 miles.
All sorts of cool benefits here. I look at your vehicle as, and correct me if I'm wrong, but remember when the smart cars came out? There were these little tiny cars. I was in Europe when they first came out before they came here, and I saw them over there. And I kind of chuckled at first because, American big cars, we all drive. I've always driven sports cars, but most people drive big cars. But then when you look at the problems in cities in Europe, and in all cities in Europe, is parking. And you would see a smart car not parallel parked, but actually backed into a parallel car spot because it's not that long. And I looked at the Solo and I went, this is kind of like the smart car in a way, but it takes it to a whole nother level and a whole nother level of uniqueness. Give our listeners the idea of what it's like to drive one of these, because you mentioned it's very stable, because that's one of the things when people think of a narrow platform like you have, well, how stable going around a corner? Is it going to flip over or what's going to happen here? Can you keep up with traffic? You mentioned that, and just what the driving experience is like, because I've got to think when you get inside this thing, you're in a whole nother world.
It is. It's unique, but I'll start out with a cool statement. We can say anything we want about the car, but people remember how the car makes them feel. And go to ElectraMeccanica.com. There's test drives that are all along the West Coast. We're migrating north. We're migrating east. We have now into Arizona. But if you can schedule a test drive, I've yet to see someone get out of the car that wasn't smiling.
Right.
And when you get into it, it is strange in the fact that when you sit down and close the door, it feels just like a car. Same steering wheel, same controls, brakes, anything that you wouldn't see any different. Mm-hmm. It's when you roll the windows down and you can put an elbow on each window ledge when you're driving. Yeah. And you ask yourself, the next, the other unique little piece is that there's no rear view mirror.
What?
You'd be looking right at yourself, no rear view mirror. So
how do you see behind?
Side view mirrors, because the car is tapered like a teardrop, you see behind you with a much wider range of vision. And almost everybody that points out there's no rear view mirror comes back and says, I never even noticed. Our entire dashboard, when you put it in reverse, we have a backup camera, and the entire dashboard is the backup camera. Wow. So between the two side mirrors in the center, you can see everything. Honestly, a lot of folks can put 2 of these in a parking spot. So
you can fit more in the garage. Yeah, exactly. This is so cool. There's so many neat things about the Solo. And one of the things that I really love is that you're starting to build these in the U.S., which is really wonderful to see because it means jobs here and so forth. And there may be other financial ramifications of that as well. But where's the facility going to be or the plant being built? Yeah, so we started a greenfield site in Mesa, Arizona. There has been a tremendous amount of technology and other companies that are moving into Mesa, other car companies, as well as silicon companies, things like that. So we put it there, 238,000 square feet, multiple lines. We'll start out with about a 20,000 unit capacity and move our way up. We have expansion to almost 3 times that amount. But we put that in place because we're putting a domestic product. Today, we import from China. We have a contract manufacturer. We have 25 people over there that walk around in a plant, EMV employees, and they literally are making sure that the quality and all of the other elements that we want that makes the vehicle so unique are done well, and then they get brought over today. We have 2 production, inspection, and delivery facilities, one in LA and another, it's actually in Hollywood, and another one right in Mesa, right next to the building we're building. So we have another 15,000 square feet there. The whole piece of this is by the end of 22,
we will be producing and delivering out of that plant, as well as having the capacity out of China.
Wow.
So the idea is, the cars are obviously they're quite safe. They're quite fun. We're not seeing any problems with them, knock on wood. But the whole idea is in order to serve the U.S., we thought we'd have something somewhat centrally located, since the main thrust is starting in the western, warmer states, and we're migrating north and east. It's a perfect place. And our suppliers are coming too.
And that's tremendous. And sitting behind you today as we talk is a convertible version to if it's already not enough fun, hey, why not make a convertible version, which is cool. So the ordering process for the consumer here, is it somewhat similar to like a Tesla perhaps, where there's not showrooms, you go online, you spec out the vehicle, there's a variety of different ways you can do it. Walk us through how that works.
Yeah, so we have about 20 kiosks in 5 states right now, West Coast, and they're heading, like I said, eastward. You go online, you can see the vehicle, schedule a test drive. We have group test drives. We have our vehicles at shows. But then you basically go online and order the vehicle, and you pick the color. So there's a couple other pieces, a wrap. Some of the vehicles a lot of people are looking for some custom wraps to really make it what they want it to be. We're introducing some wheel options, some new things, but it is basically that process of going online. And similar to a couple other places, we've got a relationship with Bosch service centers. And basically we are opening the service centers in the clusters where people are buying the most. So we're making sure that they're localized. And just to make sure that everybody gets serviced well, we have mobile units. And our mobile units are kind of unique. You get a flat tire in the Solo, our mobile unit rides over and just replaces the wheel and the tire. 4 lug nuts, you pick it up, set it down, off you go.
Wow.
We bring the damaged wheel and tire back. We either refurbish it or do whatever, but the whole idea is not to have you have to go get something or go find something. As a consumer, you like to go to different tire places. So we've certified several tires that you can get all across the United States. So it's easy to buy, easy to modify. The patterns are US based. So if a 4-lug rim, if you wanted to do those kind of things, easy to find. But we're also trying to make it so that you're just not inconvenienced, because when you're doing stuff solo, you don't like to get slowed down, right? I mean, we're
doing stuff solo. Like that.
Yeah.
Nicely done, my friend. Let's talk about charging and how far you can travel, because that range anxiety is still somewhat of a big deal for some people, because depending on what your style and lifestyle is, or how you use the vehicle, this isn't really designed to be taking cross-country road trips with the family, because they're going to be following in their own solos, unless you have a whole train of solos going down, which might be kind of fun, actually. So tell us a little bit about how it relates to charging. Does it interface with different charging stations that are already going up across the country? Oh,
absolutely. So, like I said, we get 100 miles of range. We're kind of unique because you can plug our vehicle into a 110 volt plug. You don't need a special 220 because I said our battery's smaller, it charges fast. You can pull the power you need if you need to charge anywhere with an extension cord. I mean, it's that nice. Simple, and we provide it. But we also have certified our vehicles on all of the public charging stations that are out there. ChargePoint was one of our first ones. I mean, if you go to their app and put Solo, the car pops up in the app. It knows what's going on. We've got a relationship with Blink. Blink's in some of our mobile vehicles. So, nice. And the rest of them, they're Siemens. There's across the country as the infrastructure is being placed. Administration is putting a lot of money in. We're making sure we're aligned with that. So 100 miles, most people 20 miles out, 20 miles back. Sometimes it's 20 miles out, 10 miles over to the gym or to the wherever else, and then it's another 20 miles back
home. Yeah,
and you're good with that, right? And you did it solo. If you wanted to get out with a family, you probably already have the family wagon that lets the people go around, or you might have a sports car. Now our car is pretty sporty, and I'm not saying it's a Ferrari or anything, but I'm telling you.
It's fun.
Getting out on the freeway, we made sure the acceleration profiles, you have no worry. If you step into it, you can merge right into traffic. LA traffic, I drive them myself. LA, Phoenix, that's our standard southern side, but really this was hot tested in Phoenix. So we drive between Mesa and Desert Ridge. Did that all summer on both sets of vehicles. So we got 2 years of, this year was 120 degrees ambient. And,
it got hot there. Yeah.
It got pretty hot. So, the whole idea is we're really trying to make it so that folks can use it and make it really simple. So, Your little charging cable can sit in the back. You plug it into 110 volts, or you go to a drive-up charging station at the mall or wherever else you go, and you get on a 220, and it actually goes even faster, right? It's twice as fast if you're using it. So we're aligned with the home units, the juice boxes, and the other pieces. We're in with those and certified for home installations as well as public. Yeah,
this is all fun. Now, the company has actually bought ElectraMeccanica, where Henry, that family business goes back to mid-50s, I think, is when his father started that, and then he carried it forward. I've been friends with him and driven his cars. He's coming out with an electric version of his Roadster, which is basically I won't even call it a kit car, because the way they build these things is far beyond a kit car. I mean, I think he's one of the best builders of these. Looks like an old Porsche 356 Roadster, but he's going to be electrifying that thing. Right?
That's right. Tremendous craftsmanship in that business. That is been a family business for forever. And the whole idea about migrating that craftsmanship into the electric world is really what the statement is. And we've got a couple that have been tooling around, electric ones. We had it at the LA Auto Show. We'll have another one in our upcoming shows. But the point of this was the infrastructure of the car, the electrical system, and the onboard diagnostics, and the idea that there's telematics, and we can always tell what's going on with the car. And if something is amiss, we let you know. Most electric vehicles don't need a lot of maintenance. So right. The idea that the windshield washer fluid goes low or it's time for brakes or whatnot, I mean, that's the pieces that we're trying to put in. But that Roadster will have, initially as we set it up, it'll have twice the range of our current Solo. And that's really made for when you want to have special time with someone else.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we call it specialty stuff. You know, the Solo platform itself is everything you do with yourself. And lately with COVID, people have been finding a lot of personal time in their car very enjoyable. You know, it just gets you away from everyone else. And that's what's cool about the Solo. We got an XM radio, Bluetooth connected, you know, the amenities you would expect out of a car. And you can kick back and roll the window down and enjoy your time, or roll the windows up. That's what's different about the car. You know, we're right between micro-mobility and cars. So it's fully enclosed, fully air conditioned. It's got a heated seat. Notice that was a singular seat.
Yes, I got you. Yeah.
It's got power mirrors, and I still scratch my head sometimes. It does have power mirrors, and that's just in case it's raining, because you could roll both the windows down and hold your arms out and actually adjust the mirrors, both of them at the same time.
The same time. So, you might not want to be driving while you're doing that. Don't want to take the hands off the wheel, but you know,
this before you leave.
Before you leave, actually, absolutely. Let's take a short break for our sponsors. We come back, we're going to talk about a few other things, but this is quite fun. So keep the seatbelts on. We'll be right back. By the way, the size of this car, you know, Christmas is tomorrow. You just put it in a stocking. Hang it from the fireplace. It's not quite that small. We'll be right back. I've discovered Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented Linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. Did you know that Cars Yeah is in the top 1% of all podcasts based on listenership, according to Libsyn, the premier RSS feed for podcasts in the United States? That's right. And Cars Yeah is the only 5-day-a-week automotive-focused podcast for you to get your message into the ears of thousands of listeners daily from all over the world. Plus, DuPont Registry recommended Cars Yeah is one of their top 10 car podcasts for you to enjoy. Cars Yeah has experienced tremendous growth, plus your ads are evergreen, meaning they never go away. And more listeners find Cars Yeah every day for their daily dose of automotive inspiration. Do you want to expose your brand to a highly targeted list of automotive enthusiasts in a very unique and very personal way? Well, I can help you. Contact me, Mark Green, at mark@karjat.com or through the website at karjat.com today to learn more. All right, so we're back. So I want to talk a little bit about challenge, because bringing a new car to market that is so unique like this had to have been fraught with a few challenges here and there. No doubt. Yeah, no kidding. I can't even imagine. Maybe just touch on one today that was a bit of a challenge for you guys, but something you certainly overcame, and what you learned from it.
You know, the biggest challenge is education, and it's not done. I mean, we're overcoming it by putting we have our kiosks that we talk about. Our brand ambassadors describe all the ways to use the car, and then they go a step further. They talk about how to use the car to get the most efficiency if you're looking for the ultimate in efficiency, and when and how fast you drive and what the drain looks like. And there's pieces of the puzzle where riding with your window on and your air conditioning at a mid-level, there's all kinds of little elements that come into the vehicle. And honestly, that education enhances somebody's driving fun. So we tell people, you've all done this. You pull into a parking spot and someone parks really close to you right next to your driver's door. Isn't that irritating?
Just a bit.
we have a second door. You get out the right side.
The other side.
because that's like a driver's door too, because there's only one seat, right?
Yeah. Well, I hadn't thought of that. There you go. There's a benefit.
So there's little pieces to the puzzle, and once you start to recognize them, they become little surprises and delights. And that's what I was talking about, the education process. We are trying to tell people how to insure the car. Remember, it's a three-wheeled vehicle. It's not just an electric motorcycle or a trike or an auto cycle. Each insurance company at each state has different categorizations and their different costs. So what we help folks do is understand, hey, this is in this state, this is how insurance regulations go, and this is the classification for how it's used, because we had to make sure that our vehicle followed the regulations for each state. So we know them. So that's what we try to do. Let people know those little bennies, and they can really pick up on, the cost of insurance, the other pieces. And motorcycle insurance is actually less expensive than car insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. All sorts of cool things. I know you're a car guy, true and true, going way back. We had a nice little pre-show chat, talked about the fact that you did some racing and Formula Fords, and you've been in the car industry forever and ever. I'd love for you to share a special vehicle story with us. Maybe one car, there's probably a lot, but one car that stands out for you, and maybe share a little bit about that ride.
So I had a friend who was having a little bit of an engine problem, and it was a performance issue, and it was a 1970 Hemi Cuda.
Ooh.
And it was about, he was just really struggling that, when he was trying to get it started, it didn't seem to always run. And so I told him that I would help him overcome this, because I kind of knew what it was, right? So I said, I'd overcome this if he let me go for a ride and drive. And it was pretty simple. The Hemi engine is just a wonderful, wonderful piece of machinery. And if you know how to tweak the Hemi, you know how to get everything out of it. So we did a few tweaks, and lo and behold, I got to drive. And the guy next to me left fingerprints in the dashboard because I was having so much fun.
Yeah, he was like, maybe this was a bad idea to have Kevin at the wheel.
No, it was good. You know what? It came out nice. I bought him a new set of rear tires. I got to just say that. But,
yeah,
but we had fun.
There you go. Well, yeah. And 70 Hemi Cuda. One of those iconic vehicles. Oh. Now, I'm going to crawl into your skull a little bit. I'll be your psychologist today. If you were manifest as a vehicle, Kevin, what would you be, but more importantly, why? So
I have this ideal vehicle in my imagination.
Okay.
And it doesn't exist today, but I'm shooting for one, right? It has all of the elements that sound like this. I would love the allure of a Bugatti Veyron. I would love the idea that it was the classic symbol, like a Cadillac. I would love the idea that it had the efficiency of a Smart or a Solo.
A Solo, there you go.
Right. And the affordability, again, so that all of my friends didn't have to go mortgage their house to buy one, but they could actually get in one and let it roll. And the other thing would be, there's a couple of buttons that they would push. One is truly, hey, I need to get there. And you've seen the economic button, and then you've seen the normal driving button, and then you see you hear of let it go crazy, right? I'd like those buttons. And I think people, when they buy them and they know exactly clearly what it's about and they try them, that they can actually make that vehicle what they want it to be without paying a giant penalty. So that's my ideal car: is beauty, form, function, handling, and affordability. I'm not sure they're all out there, because I talk about the Solo being a purpose-built vehicle, and we try, and we will continue to try on every single platform after this to incorporate the things I just told you. I think we have some beautiful styling. Our next generations have beautiful styling. I think we have affordability. We're managing that one quite well. And honestly, the fun to drive thing, we're just going to keep adding to that.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's what the Solo's all about. You talk about buttons. My E46 M3 has a sport button. And I've had a couple of those cars. I still have one. And my son, when we were little, always say, "Dad, can I push the sport button?" And it turns the car into a different car. That's absolutely true. It's pretty darn fun. Yeah, the push button and go. Yeah, I love it. It's great. Is there a great book that you've read that you'd like to share with others that you learned a lot from or you really enjoyed?
I do quite a bit of reading, and there's a couple that I will tell you in what I model a lot of things after. Were a lot of the Maxwell books. The leadership side of things isn't about trying to say that you are something special. It is about a series of tactics that allow everyone else to understand how special they really are and making a vision come true. Because my job is to make sure that there's a vision and people can connect to the vision. Mm-hmm. So it is the piece of I'll call it there's motivation and inspiration. There's a mixture of the both, and both of those play into having people really become fulfilled and proud and have the craftsmanship of making the vehicle inside. And the story is always told, and the scorecard comes out from the consumers, because they say, "I love it, I like it, I don't like it." And honestly, that's kind of the pieces that I've pulled out a lot of the different books. I've been having a lot of fun with I don't know if you guys have read Blink or a few others.
Course. Sure.
Yeah. So good stuff like that. I've always been a fan of The Goal. If you read that, that's always find the bottlenecks. I'm an operations guy, right? I read that stuff. So anyway, but lately, I've been enjoying fun books is what I've been reading. So.
Well, that's important. Fun and learning as well. So I'm going to allow you to go on the ultimate drive. The magic of Christmas here, since it's tomorrow, is living well here at Cars Yeah. So the Christmas magic is this. I'm going to be able to provide you with any vehicle in the world. Doesn't matter what it is, how much it costs. No worries to you. It's going to be under the tree. You can go anywhere in this vehicle with anybody, living or deceased. And you can go anywhere. So what does the ultimate drive, maybe this Christmas Eve, look like for Kevin Pavlov?
So I would, this is a unique thing. I'm a big fan of Jackie Stewart. And so I've actually been in a car with him one time.
Really? Sir Jackie. Yeah. Nice.
We were at Ford, and we were doing the yaw torque and stability control at the PRC. And I never had enough time. He was running through the corners, and he yelled out, "She's lifting her leg," which is the inside tires off the ground. And I'm sitting there going, wow. And he had his arm hanging out the window. He was so casual.
Sure.
And I was just amazed at the amount of control. So, and I wanted more time to learn all of the pieces from him. So if you put me in something as nutty as a Veyron, and we had a completely closed off area in the Hollywood Hills, and we didn't have to worry about any public. It was just us. I would love to go for a ride. Either me driving, him telling me how to do it, or him driving, telling me how he's doing it. One of the two. Yeah,
maybe the canyons, Mulholland Drive there. Block them off so you don't have all the yahoos running into you. But the Veyron, holy cow, that's a killer car. But with Jackie Stewart, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I got to sit with him at the Pebble Beach Concours up in the judges box once. I was very fortunate. I got invited to sit up there and watch the cars drive over the podium. And Jackie was on one side of me, and the late Denise McCluggage, who's been a guest on the show, was on the other side of me. And I'm sitting here looking left, like, who do I talk to? I mean, these two icons, but he was very kind. I'd love to get him on the show, but he's a hard guy to track down. I'll keep trying. trying, but maybe one of these days I'll get him on the show. But that sounds like a wonderful drive. You've taken us on a wonderful solo drive here today, although we're all together here on Christmas Eve, which is the way it should be. Before I let you go, could you share maybe some parting words of wisdom, inspiration, a mantra, or a success quote with us?
I'm going to do the first one. And just, it's about the solo, right? 1 seat, 3 wheels, endless possibilities and fun.
I love it.
So, I mean, I describe it, and if you haven't, go try it. Go schedule a test drive at ElectraMeccanica.com. But I will tell you the other one. Enjoy life. I think people after COVID, we've kind of forgotten how to have grace with each other and really realize that we're really all out to have fun, not at the expense of others, but on the true enjoyment. So let the season get into your heart. Let's go take these wonderful machines that we ride in and leverage them for a true enjoyment piece, and let all the other traffic around you, whatever they're doing, give those folks the grace, and I think it'll just keep cascading, and it would just be wonderful. So I guess that would be what I would dream for this Christmas.
Well, very nicely said, my friend. How can people learn more about the Solo? Where do they go look?
You can, ElectraMeccanica.com is a great starting point. If not, on that site, there are all of our different kiosks. Most of them are in malls. So like I said, they're easy access, foot traffic wise. Go there. So if you see it online, go to the one that's near you. And honestly, you can get in, touch it. We don't have restrictions on that part of it. We sanitize the cars, we wipe them down. So it's not like you're getting into a bad environment. But honestly, to go touch it and feel it is one thing, but I really recommend a test drive.
Driving it, yeah.
You get out, and all you have to do is just think about how it made you feel, and that'll carry it out. So. Yeah,
well, you know, for the listeners here and all of us here at Cars Yeah, how a car makes us feel is very, very, very important. So we're in the right environment here. Listeners, you can find everything on Kevin's show notes page on the Cars Yeah website. Just type in Kevin Pavlov, P-O-V-L-O-V. He's the only Pavlov that have been on Cars Yeah, so he's easy to find. I want to do a shout out to Katie Waldenberg from MZ Group Public Relations. She's the one that introduced me to Kevin today. Katie's brought me several great guests, so thank you, Katie.
Go, Katie.
Very, very much. Yeah, Katie goes. You go, girl. So thank you for being so generous and excited. I can tell you just really love this brand. You are into this, and now I know why, because it is a very cool deal. Check it out, listeners. Until you and I talk again, my friend, I'll see you down the road, and have a very Merry Christmas.
You too, Mark. Merry Christmas.
This has been fun.
It is.
Here at Cars Yeah, it's all about inspiration. And our charity of choice is TechForce Foundation, where it's all about making a positive difference in young people's lives. TechForce helps young adults discover their talents and passions for all things automotive, with a mission of helping students develop a career as a professional technician. TechForce awards nearly $2 million in scholarships every year for students to pursue technical education, and they support hands-on activities, events, and mentorships across the country, working to change the outdated perceptions of these careers. Auto techs are in high demand, but the supply of qualified technicians is critically short. They need your help to fuel their mission. Learn more and join me in supporting them at techforce.org.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.